This week, that fifth rounder, TJ Logan, suffered from a wrist injury. He will not be back until week 8. The Cardinals thought they found their return specialist, but they're back at square one, looking for anyone not named Patrick Peterson to man the position. They'll be looking at a handful of players, but tonight, running back Kerwin Williams will get the start. Bruce Arians has tons of confidence in him, and it seems like anytime he's given the opportunity, he makes the most of it. And guys, something to watch for tonight, Kerwin will be returning his first punt in the NFL.
Well, it's disappointing for TJ Logan because he looked so good last week, Wolf, but there's a lot of confidence in Kerwin Williams, a former undrafted player that has really earned his keep in the NFL as a special teams guy.
Yeah, he's earned the right, David, to actually go ahead and try to be the kick return, punt return specialist that TJ Logan appeared to be. And my only concern is just the fact that that punt return is a whole different skill set than a kickoff return. I think Kerwin's going to be fine on the kickoff return, but that punt return, my goodness, you're looking up and that brown oblong ball is coming down at you. You better have soft hands and you better camp underneath it. We're going to find out if Kerwin Williams can do that here tonight.
Cardinals are going to get the ball first. We have two of the oldest players in the National Football League on display tonight. They both happen to be kickers. Sebastian Janikowski, age 39, and on the other side for the Cardinals, Phil Dawson at age 42.
Yeah, Sebastian, he's got the tunic on. Did you notice that, David? I mean, you know, he doesn't tuck his shirt in. Don't know if you've noticed that, David. He kind of has that thing untucked, but it is hemmed, right? So it's kind of like a tunic.
He does whatever he wants. We've learned that with Janikowski over the years. He does whatever he wants.
Hey,
the rules are different for him.
If you're as good as he is and has been for as long as he has, you can wear the tunic.
They spent a first-round pick on him. Remember, Roberto Aguayo from Tampa Bay, a second-round pick. He just got released because he couldn't handle the pressure Janikowski, though, has over the last 2 decades in the NFL. And Williams will run it out about 5 yards deep. Remember, the rule was changed last year to on touchbacks you get it to the 25, and Williams elects to run it out and is close to the 30-yard line. So Carson Palmer turned 38 years old at the end of the regular season. It's his 15th year in the league, 5th with Arizona. Palmer, 33 wins, 51 games. He's 14th all-time in NFL history in passing yards. Almost 300 touchdown passes over the course of his career, which included 2 seasons with the Raiders. He's 13th all-time in passes completed. The guy that's battled through injury, including 3 years ago, the knee injury. And at the beginning of last year wasn't himself, but the second half of last season was outstanding. They run it on first down. David Johnson makes his way past the 30 and picks up a couple, or he's brought down by Mario Edwards.
Yeah, like that right there. Get the ball to David Johnson, right? I think we're going to see David get his hands on some footballs here tonight, especially if they're able to move the change, extend this possession. David Johnson is a special running back in this league.
First player ever to have over 100 yards from scrimmage in each of his first 15 games. The only reason he didn't get it in the regular season finale was because of injury. Palmer going to throw here on second down, and the pass is off target, but a flag. Sean Smith interfering with J.J. Nelson on the play, and that'll put the ball at about the 42-yard line. A first down for the Cardinals coming up.
Yeah, it looked like Carson kind of stared down the Skeletor, J.J. Nelson.
Pass interference, defense number 21. Ball replaces on the foul, automatic, first down.
J.J.'s working against man cover, trying to run the 4 route. You see him get the release right here, trying to run that 10 to 12 yard curl coming right back. There was contact down there. It appeared to be a good call.
So first down on the 40 for Arizona. See Larry Fitzgerald there at the top of your screen, 14th year in the NFL. Johnson running right, trying to get outside. Able to slip a tackle and close to a first down. There we see the speed and power of David Johnson. 10 yards on the player, close to it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, listen now, that's 22 double right there. That is the power. And you can see Big Mike Iupati leading around the corner, and David Johnson just bounced that to the outside. Couple of stiff arms right there. That's the other thing about David Johnson. Yeah, he's quick. He can make you miss. You know what? He's strong in the open field.
Led the NFL in touchdowns last year at 20. First team All-Pro. He'll get it again. And Johnson skips through a hole. Man, he got hit hard, though, at the 47-yard line by Carl Joseph. First-round draft choice a year ago out of West Virginia by the Raiders. Boy, we go back to that Rams game last year. Johnson hurt his knee, Wolf, and when it happened, we were all concerned. But as you look at the last play, but thankfully, and the Cardinals needed a break with injuries because that was a big reason why they finished under 500 last year because of all the guys hurt. But thankfully, Johnson was okay, and he's 100% now.
Exhibit A as to why he is a freak. The fact he did not get hurt in that game on that play is amazing.
Play fake for Carson here on 2nd and long, airing it out. Boy, Jerron Brown wide open, but the ball was overthrown. Not sure what happened defensively that time. Jerron Brown should have had an easy touchdown.
Well, you knew that was coming at some point in time, right? This is the Bruce Arians bash and bomb offense. Run the ball, in particular on 1st and 10. Now all of a sudden you got 2nd down. You take a shot down the field. That was a planned, called shot down the field to Jerron Brown running the post, and they just missed.
Chris Johnson is the running back here on 3rd down and 7. That was a big story early last year, unable to hook up on deep passes. Palmer steps up here. Nelson on the catch and the 1st down before he scoots out inside the 35. You saw that speed there of J.J. Nelson, able to get an extra 6 or 7 yards and pick it up on 3rd and 7.
Well, that's a nice job right there. Carson Palmer going through his progression, right? Going through his reads. Finding the open receiver underneath and J.J. Nelson. And that's where J.J. Nelson has got to shine, David. This guy has got to be able to be dependable in running wide receiver routes and catching the ball when you actually throw it to him.
34 catches last year, had a touchdown in 6 games. Run play here. Chris Johnson off the right side. He's inside the 30. And Chris Johnson, who has been banged up much of the last 2 years, but he's number 3 among active players in rushing yards.
Here we go right here, David, right? Get a hat on a hat play side, build a wall backside. That's called the tackle zone. You can see it right here. This guy runs this play so well, he finds a seam, and it's because he's got great vision. Hat on a hat play side, build a wall backside.
Johnson in his 10th year, age 31. He'll get it again. And the cutback not there, stood up at the 30-yard line by Justin Ellis, so that's a loss on the play of about 2. Bring up 3rd down and long. How about this backup running back spot behind David Johnson? Is it an automatic that it's going to be Chris Johnson, or is Kerwin Williams in play for that spot?
No, I think Kerwin Williams is in play for that spot. But I think, look, Chris Johnson has got to show that he is Chris Johnson. In other words, that he's still got it, David. He's got to show that to the coaches, and these are the only ways he's going to be able to show it. Games like this.
And again, health has been an issue for him the last couple of years. 3rd down and 6. We may have seen the last of David Johnson tonight. Palmer looking, and his pass is caught by Gresham for a 1st down. Good protection. Remember, DJ Humphries, their normal left tackle, is not starting tonight because of a hamstring injury. So John Wetzel's getting the call there.
No, you like this protection. Look at the pocket right here for Carson Palmer. It's a 4-man rush. You go ahead, you're playing a zone behind it. Look at Gresh work in between those 2 zone defenders. Carson with a nice job, a good throw, move the chains. This is efficiency, and this is what BA wanted to see.
Here's play 10 on this drive. From the 21 of Oakland, and a quick pass that's off the mark, intended for Jerron Brown. So twice now, Carson and Brown unable to make a connection.
Boy, that right there looked like the hootie hoo, Dave. That was the, hey, you know what? So listen, do you see what I see right now? Or, do you see it out there? And suddenly Jerron Brown went too far down the field. Carson got that ball out quicker.
Well, Jerron missed a good part of last year with a knee injury, and more of a special teams guy, but he did get some reps at receiver, 11 catches last year, but you would think that's on him. 2nd and 10, Palmer to throw again, and again, time. Caught at the 15-yard line. Britton Golden on the catch. Golden fighting for a roster spot. Good special teams guy.
This is really good. This is what Bruce Arians wants to see, David. He wants to see his receiver room make plays. Even though that receiver room is one of the most talented, I still believe that. One of the most talented rooms on the Cardinals roster. They got to go do it. And in practice, David, so far this preseason, they haven't done it.
Well, as we talked about in the pregame, no John Brown tonight. They're hopeful he'll play next week against Chicago. Obviously, all the issues with Michael Floyd last year led to his release. Cardinals are going to have to call a timeout here with a play clock to 4. So we'll come back with 3rd down and 4. Cardinals at the 15-yard line. Wolf, the Cardinals last year got up to that slow start, 1-3.
This is their first.
And they finished 7-8-1 on the season, hoping for better things in 2017. Have moved the ball down the field. They have a 3rd and 4 on the Raider 15. First time we've had a look at the Cardinals starters with Blaine Gabbert starting the Hall of Fame game. And Carson, other than that deep ball where he misfired trying to hit Jerron Brown, has been relatively sharp on this drive. That's Andre Ellington in the backfield. Palmer going for Ellington, but it's incomplete. There was pressure right in the face of Palmer. Had to get rid of that ball. Danico Autry was there for Oakland. The Raiders playing without Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin tonight, but they still got pressure on 3rd down there on Palmer.
Well, that was disappointing right there. Only a 4-man rush. They played cover 3, close the middle of the field, 3 deep, 4 underneath, and only rush 4. Played a little game right there, and Mike Iupati and John Wetzel on that left side, they missed that game.
So Phil Dawson, age 42, 19th NFL season. There is a penalty marker down, but that one is on the money from 33 yards. Chandler Catanzaro, the kicker last year, missed some crucial kicks. Bruce Arians and company decided to make a change. And Phil Dawson, one of the all-time leaders in made field goals, number 10 on that list.
Illegal formation on the defense. They were covering the snapper. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
So they take the points off the board because of the penalty on the Raiders. And it'll be a first down for the Cardinals at the 15-yard line.
This is some excellent work right here, but you watch Phil Dawson. This guy is so accurate. It is unbelievable watching him in practice. You can see clearly they were offsides, but Phil Dawson, you've got to look and you've got to watch him to see if he misses kicks. And I'm talking about while he's warming up. It's incredible how accurate he is all through practice.
BA told us the other day he was making 70-yarders before anybody came into the building. Just the coaches were watching him and marveling. So first down and goal on the 10-yard line. Chris Johnson hit behind the line and tackled. A loss of 2 on the play. Markel Lee, middle linebacker, who's a rookie, a 5th-round draft pick out of Wake Forest. The defense for the Raiders struggled last year. Their offense was phenomenal, and they won 12 games. Of course, they lost their quarterback, Derek Carr, to injury and ended up losing in the playoffs. But Jack Del Rio, known as a defensive guy.
Yes. Byron Leftwich calling the plays here tonight, right?
Who Jack Del Rio drafted, by the way, in Jacksonville.
Think about it right now, right? Byron doing a nice job.
So 2nd and goal on the 12-yard line. Palmer with time. And it is incomplete, intended for Gresham. Let's keep going on Byron Leftwich. A meteoric rise, right? He was an intern last year. Now he's the quarterback's coach with Carson Palmer. They were in the same draft class, by the way. Carson's actually a little bit older. And now Leftwich is calling plays in the preseason.
Yes, he really is. He's on the fast track right now to becoming a coordinator. And anytime you're on the fast track to becoming a coordinator, you may also be becoming a head coach sooner as opposed to later.
So 3rd down and goal on the 12. Palmer to the end zone, caught, touchdown. It's Britton Golden on the grab.
Oh, baby. That's splitting the Nats' head from about 20 yards. That is an excellent Throw by Carson Palmer right there. You take a look at it here, working inside. Center of the field closed. What a great read and a great throw by Carson Palmer, and a great job by Britt Golden to hold on.
Well, just being at training camp, everybody talking about Carson Palmer being back. That last year at the beginning of the year there was some lingering injuries. He really wasn't himself until midseason. He's been money in camp, and that pass was on the money to Britt Golden. Dawson adds one. It's 7-0 Arizona after an impressive opening drive in the preseason home opener. Scoring drive presented by Santan Ford in Gilbert. Santan Ford and the Cardinals. Team is what it takes. Well, BA said the starters were going to go 15 plays. They went 14 in that first drive. 6 minutes and 36 seconds off the clock. There were 2 drops, including that long throw to Jerron Brown that would have been a touchdown, but Palmer comes back and hits Britt Golden for the score.
A couple of penalties as well. The Raiders helped them, but look, you know what? They ran the ball well. Balance, and we've seen that out of the Arizona Cardinals in 2 preseason games right now. Whether Goody was calling it or Byron Leftwich, we've seen the play call be very, very balanced. Run pass.
Matt Weil is kicking off. He is in a battle for the starting punter job, and this will help his cause. The ability to kick off and kick it deep. Touchback. It'll come out to the 25 for Oakland. Well, the Cardinal defense was #1 last year in sacks, #2 in total defense, and it was this guy, Chandler Jones, who was at the forefront of all the pressure.
Oh, you better believe it. Chandler Jones coming off the edge, David. This guy is good. Got a PhD in back waxing. And it's one of the reasons why the Arizona Cardinals move him around the way that they do. He's going to be on the right edge, the left edge, anywhere across the board in the gap.
That's his favorite Wolfleyism. He just made him happy because when he watches a replay, he's going to be psyched you called him that. As E.J. Manuel is in at quarterback because Derek Carr is not playing tonight. Neither is Amari Cooper, their outstanding wide receiver. Cordero Patterson on the catch. Manuel coming over from Buffalo, where he had a disappointing 4 seasons for the most part.
Yeah, Patrick Peterson had to be surprised that they said, you know what, let's go ahead and throw the ball at 21 right now. That's when you know they don't have any game plans going, offensively or defensively. On the first play, they throw the ball at 21.
Second down and 5. Manuel stumbled, and Washington with a big running lane. It's the first down of the 39. Justin Bethel eventually on the tackle. That play should have gone nowhere. Instead, it ends up being a first down for the Raiders.
Well, you can watch Hassan Reddick on this replay right here, right? Hassan Reddick kind of overruns it coming from the backside. You got to honor your gap, rookie, on that backside. Hassan Reddick got a little too greedy on that play.
Well, when he was drafted, the thought was, we don't know that you're going to start right away because Deone Buchanan plays that spot, but now Buchanan injured, and so Reddick has to start, may have to start week 1. Manuel rolling left, and he has an open man, Seth Roberts on the catch. First down.
Well, that is excellent play action right there by the Raiders. Manuel doing a wonderful job rolling out, moving to his left, finding the receiver on the drag. Very common play, run off of that tackle zone action.
So first down in Cardinal territory. And they're going to run Washington again. And he's bottled up this time. A helmet comes off of a Raider.
Boy, flags on the ground. Somebody got lit up.
Illegal use of the hands to the face, defense, number 97. 5-yard penalty enforced from the end of the run, automatic, first down.
That's on Josh Morrow. Now Morrow is replacing Calais Campbell as the starter at that defensive end spot.
Yeah, Josh Morrow, an excellent run defender as well, honoring his gap, got his hand up a little too high to that offensive lineman's face.
A little?
Well, you know what, David? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do as well. Sometimes that thumb in the nostril isn't a bad thing.
It is when you get flagged for 5 yards. First down at the 40, Manuel. And a catch at the 35-yard line. Lee Smith, the tight end.
You see the Raiders right here mixing it up very nice on 1st and 10. Run-down possession. What do you do in rundown? 1st and 10, 2nd and 1 to 6.
By the way, isn't it great? You just saw a shot at number 56. Isn't it great to see Carlos Dansby back with the Cardinals? His 3rd tour of duty here in Arizona, part of the Super Bowl run. Was drafted the same year as Larry Fitzgerald. That's how long he's been in the league.
Los Dirty, the Dirty Bird.
DeAndre Washington slips, and down he goes. Well, you think about the late Denny Green and that 2004 draft. Antonio Smith in the 5th round, Darnell Dockett in the 3rd. Dansby in the 2nd, 1st round, Larry Fitzgerald. Plus Bertrand Berry signed as a free agent.
Yes.
And the next year, Kurt Warner, who was just inducted into the Hall of Fame.
I'm just so glad to hear you start with Antonio Smith in the 5th round. Everyone forgets in that draft, Antonio Smith. What a great player he was for a 5th round pick.
3rd and 4 for the Raiders at the 34-yard line. And Manuel's pass is caught. There's the Badger. In coverage, pushing Roberts out of bounds before the 1st down marker. There's that closing speed and instincts we're used to out of Tyrann Mathieu.
We're talking about a full-on savant here when you talk about Tyrann Mathieu. This is a guy that sees the field in a 3-dimensional way that others don't. His football IQ is second to none. That is a Badger-like play right there, jumping that out short of the sticks.
Janikowski on for a 51-yard attempt. And it's short. Normally, that's no problem for him. You wonder, did it get tipped? He's got such a strong leg. It landed in the end zone. You wonder if somebody got a finger on it. Carson Palmer with a touchdown pass. The lone score in the game after Oakland's missed field goal. Broadcast booth brought to you by your Arizona Ford dealers. So Carson Palmer's night is over, and Drew Stanton is in the game at quarterback. A record of 8-5 as a starter, including a win Week 5 at San Francisco last year. A lot of people wondering whether the signing of Blaine Gabbert is Drew Stanton in trouble as the number 2, as Andre Ellington gets the call and picks up about 2 or 3. I think both at this point, and just me, I'd be surprised if they didn't keep 3. I think Gabbert would really have to play either poorly to get cut, really poorly to get cut, or play so well and so far beyond Drew Stanton that Stanton isn't on the team.
Yeah,
I think
honestly,
it's going to be 3.
I don't see Blaine Gabbert unseating Drew Stanton as the backup quarterback on this team.
Neither do I.
I don't see that happening. I see the Cardinals looking at Blaine Gabbert as if he's a project. That's exactly what he is.
2nd and 8 for Stanton. Ellington again. And he gets maybe 1 to the 44. There's no doubt that there's a lot of trust in Drew Stanton. And you go back to the injury that Carson Palmer suffered, and then Stanton comes in, leads the Cardinals to the playoffs, and then he gets hurt. And you got Ryan Lindley or Logan Thomas as your quarterback, and anybody that's a Cardinal fan would have killed for a healthy Drew Stanton because there was trust there that he's not going to make these huge mistakes.
Look, here's what I know. As a career backup, he's 7-5 as a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Pass play on 3rd down. On target there and right on cue. Finding Ellington for the 1st down.
Boy, that was an excellent read by Drew Stanton right there. Standing tall in the pocket. Some excellent protection as well. Another 4-man rush. The Cardinals have been able to handle that 4-man rush of the Raiders all night long so far. That's an accurate throw, but again, David, Drew Stanton is He's a guy that wins games. He doesn't go out and suddenly light up the scoreboard or the stat book, but he wins games. What else do you want out of your backup quarterback?
And when you're Larry Fitzgerald and you get in the huddle with Drew Stanton, there is a comfort level there. Stanton going to air it out here, throwing into double coverage, and it was almost there. Taking a deep shot, unable to connect. Corey James with a big hit on Stanton. Chris Hubert was the intended receiver.
Well, on that note right there, look, there are 2 times your head will snap up when a quarterback steps into a huddle. Once when he's a legend, the other time when the backup actually steps into the huddle to call his first play. Because you're looking at that guy, David, you want to know, oh my goodness, are you okay, buddy? You going to be all right? And Drew Stanton exudes confidence.
Ellington on the draw with running room past the 35, getting the first down. And we probably should not count out Andre Ellington with the injury now to TJ Logan as a guy that can make the 53. Remember, a couple of years ago, they were going to center the offense around this guy, and then he kept getting hurt.
Watch this guy right here on the draw action and then bounce that thing out here. Go ahead, boys. This is what he does well. You see him bounce that thing to the outside. He's still got the jets. Andre Ellington has only been plagued by one thing, and that's injury.
They were going to move him to receiver and then change their mind and put him back at running back. First down on the 30. This is Kerwin Williams in the game. Knocked down at the 27, picking up 3.
Boy, do I like that right there. This is one of the reasons why I love Kerwin Williams. You see him take the ball right there on the belly play, and he just stoked that thing right through the B gap.
How about last year when we saw them run the Wildcat with him at quarterback?
He's very versatile. And versatility, that is a new buzzword in the National Football League. You'll hear some people say position versatility. The ability to play multiple positions and in multiple spots in this new game of space.
Second down and 7 on the 27-yard line. Here's Williams again. Great balance by Williams, and then he caught the ball up. Right into the arms of Markel Lee. Williams trying to rip it away from him, but it's going to be Raider football. Or did Kerwin get it back? They're signaling that it's Raider ball, but Kerwin's got the football. There's no doubt it went right into the arms of Lee, but I wonder, did he ever secure it? The ruling on the field is it's Oakland ball. This would be very hard to overturn on replay.
Well, that's a shame right there. They're running 23 double. It's the power without the pull. And you can see he's running and trying to get extra yards, keeping the legs churning, putting the hand down to the ground. That's when the football is its most vulnerable. And that's exactly what happened to Kerwin Williams. The ball came out when he got a helmet right on the arm, right on the hand. When he was putting that left hand down, that's what stripped it.
Well, that is not going to help Kerwin, because if you're Bruce Arians, you're saying, okay, I've got my punt returner slash kick returner slash third down back. I want to make sure no matter what, he holds onto the ball, that we don't turn the ball over deep in the red zone on third down, or he doesn't fumble a punt and have it recovered by the opponent. Good defense here as Richard gets nailed by Marcus Golden. What a year Golden had last year. 3rd in the NFL in sacks.
Boy, that is an excellent job across the board, staying in your gap. The Raiders got whipped at the point of attack, and then Marcus Golden coming from the backside, honoring that backside as well. Good gap discipline across the front for the Cardinals, stuffing that first down run.
So that's the end of the first quarter here at University of Phoenix Stadium, and the Cardinals lead 7-0. Second quarter is ready to start 15 minutes before halftime. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com today. Now, not playing for the Raiders tonight, Derek Carr, who is on his way maybe to an MVP award until injury last year. And how about Marshawn Lynch, out of football last year, longtime Seahawk, trying to resurrect his career with the Raiders.
That's a bad man right there. A bad, bad man.
Here's E.J. Manuel on 2nd and 12, and his pass is caught at the 27-yard line. I got a text during the commercial break, Wolf, and somebody was asking me, am I working with Jesse Ventura tonight?
Oh, please.
Well, just your accent, though, on the Marshawn Lynch commentary sounded a lot like him.
Are you going to tell me Beast Mode is not a bad man? That's a bad man right there, walking around in a ski cap.
Well, they have to replace Latavius Murray, who's now in Minnesota. He had a very good year at running back for Oakland last year. This is a 12-win team from a year ago. First time in 16 years the Raiders won that many games.
I'd love to see you try to tackle him. That'd be hysterical.
3rd and 4 for Manuel. And a missed tackle, and Patterson is one of the fastest guys in the NFL. Has a first down out to the 45-yard line. Eventually Antoine Bethea on the stop of the Cardinals. I know that's tough. You got Patterson out there in space. Not an easy guy to catch. It would have been 4th down.
Oh, you watch it right here. You got a missed tackle right there, right?
Not
a good thing. Yeah, Tremont Williams. And then look at Antoine Bethea come up with a form tackle. Boy, you rarely do you see that anymore. You stick the hat right inside there, and then you wrap both arms and lift.
Richard straight ahead for about 5. Antoine Bethea is in his 12th NFL season. He's been with the 49ers most recently, and then prior to that with the Colts. He's 33 years old. The Cardinals have had a lot of turnover at safety. Obviously Tony Jefferson, DJ Swearinger elsewhere.
Yeah, you got to remember as well, the Raiders are very, very good at running the ball. Rundown situation. Got a big offensive line. Got the butt guts all greased up and creased up. Coming off the ball. Top 10 rush offense last year, the Oakland Raiders.
Another run play between the tackles, and there's Robert Kindici trying to get off a block. Boy, has he looked good in camp, but we're all nervous. We don't want to get too excited just yet because we saw what happened last year.
Watch Deach right here. Robert Kindici using his hands, right, doing a good job on the double nugget off, make the play. Still a little bit too high right there. Got to get lower for my liking, but you know what? He made a play.
And Wolf, not a lot has been talked about the injury for Kindici last year. He had an ankle injury that would, for many players, have meant surgery. But he fought for it to try to play. 3rd and short. Richard wrapped up. Kindici there again. Scooby Wright as well. But the Deach helped make the play in the backfield. 4th down.
Well, I'll tell you what. That's a little flat shovel work right there by Robert Kindici, right? Get off at the point, make the play. That's what he's been doing all of training camp right there. The guy is a disruptor. It's what he does. Get off the ball quickly. They sank it down on a double sink. Here they come. Use your hands, make the play.
Raiders going for it on 4th down. See if Kindici can come up big again. And they stuff it.
Oh.
How about Kindici? And on 3 straight plays for the Cardinals. That's exactly what they want. Consistency out of one of the most talented defensive players on the roster.
Look at this at the point of attack. Nothing but red. Inside, hunting up the squirrel. Whacking it with a big old hammer.
Ladies and gentlemen, small presents your Arizona Cardinals cheerleader.
Robert Kindici, first-round draft pick a year ago, played in just a handful of games, in part because of injury. Bruce Arians called him a starter when we spoke to him the other day. He played like one in that last series. So the Cardinals take over on downs on their 46-yard line and stand to the air here on 1st and 10. Gonna air it out and overthrew the intended receiver with a flag. That's the 2nd time he's gone deep to Hubert. Flag thrown near the 25-yard line.
Well, don't know exactly what happened here. It appeared as though Hubert may have been contacted as he tried to release down the field, and that's what the flag was for.
Illegal contact, defense number 21. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's 2 penalties on Sean Smith for the Raiders.
Now you can see right here, Hubert with a little takeoff. There it is, the classic takeoff where you act like you're going to run that 4 route, that 10 to 12-yard curl, and then boom, you let it go over the top. And that's exactly what they got Sean Smith on. A takeoff.
First down to the 49 of the Raiders. Here's Andre Ellington, and trouble in the backfield, and down he goes. James Cowser on the stop for Oakland. The Raiders last year, they were 26th in defense. You think about a 12-win team that was near the bottom statistically. Now, they may have the best defensive player in the league in Khalil Mack, and that certainly did not hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, number 32 in sacks per attempt, their defense last year. Can you imagine it? To have Khalil Mack and you're dead last in the league in sacks per attempt.
And he was the defensive player of the year.
He was. That is, you want to talk about a guy that I will liken to Lawrence Taylor, the great Lawrence Taylor. I'll go with Khalil Mack.
Stanton goes for Troy Nicholas. And Nicholas brought down at the 44. Picking up about 8 that time. Good to see Troy healthy. Injuries have been such a problem for him. Former second-round pick out of Notre Dame.
I love watching Troy Nicholas play right here. I mean, this is like Barney the dinosaur. He goes out there and plays with a huge smile on his face, and all he does is run over people.
He's got a lot longer arms, though, Nicholas does, than Barney.
He definitely does, but he goes out there and plays a game of football with a big old grin on his face.
Third and 5, and Stanton finds Ross for a first down. Something as simple as that, though, and how Stanton executed that play, right? You could take it for granted just as a casual fan, maybe, but it was perfectly done by the quarterback that time.
No doubt. Drew Stanton, once again, this was something that I believe they actually checked out of and checked into.
Exactly, right?
A play on the fly, and that's something that Drew Stanton does so well. He's been in BA's system all the way back to Indianapolis.
Well, it's not just about arm strength. It is about accuracy, but so much of it is the ability to process information, right?
Yes.
Understand what you're seeing and then make the adjustment. Timeout here by the Raiders.
Drew Stanton so comfortable with Bruce Arians, and BA obviously so comfortable with Drew Stanton as well.
Fans, in a few moments, you have your chance to win a $100 Chevrolet.
Lone score in the game, a Carson Palmer touchdown pass to Britton Golden. Wells Fargo donates $500 to local public schools for the Passing Touchdowns for Schools program. Wells Fargo, together we'll go far. Palmer threw 26 touchdown passes last year.
Well, so sharp right there, that in route to Britton Golden, thrown on time with anticipation.
Stanton steps up, eludes pressure, and finds the open man. It's Britton Golden having a night. Inside the 10, it'll be first and goal. He picks up 25 yards on the play.
Oh, David, you got to be kidding me. Drew Stanton, did you see that right there? You got a little strong safety fire coming to the right. Andre Ellington picks up a backer. The safety runs by Drew Stanton after he steps up. That is experience by number 5.
Goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Ellington in trouble, no running room, so no gain on the play. Trayvon Hester along with Corey James on the tackle. Second and goal.
Boy, that is so impressive right there. I don't know about you, David, but you got it so much poise sitting there as somebody is firing their gun and they flash and you just go ahead and step up in the pocket. They run by you and you find a receiver knowing you're in trouble.
Well, you think about Stanton versus Gabbert. They're opposites in that Stanton has basically had the same offense and the same coordinator for the last 5 or 6 years. Gabbert's had a different guy every season. Ellington gets the call again, gets maybe 1 or 2. I mean, how important is that to know the system, have a comfort level with the guy that's calling the plays, as opposed to Gabbard, who was a first-round pick. Remember, he was drafted by Jack Del Rio in Jacksonville. They had a bad team, no receivers, and then they just kept firing coaches and trying new things with Gabbard.
Now, I don't even know how Blaine Gabbard calls a play in the huddle. He's on his 7th offensive coordinator in 7 years, David. Are you kidding me? You try to pick up a new language every year.
And then you're running Chip Kelly's offense last year in San Francisco.
I mean, how he doesn't get in the huddle and go blah, 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 blah.
3rd and goal for Stanton. Again, gets out of there. And he finds Nicholas for the touchdown. What a great play by Stanton.
Never knew Barney could catch the ball. How about that? Troy Nicholas just running around the end zone. Big smile on his face. The smiling assassin, Troy Nicholas. What a great job by Drew Stanton, right? Buying himself a little bit of time. Watch him extend the play right here. Moving out to his right. There's Troy Nicholas uncovering. Nice grab. The kid from Notre Dame.
Now the Cardinals have been desperate for Troy Nicholas to reach that potential and first of all stay healthy. Dawson puts it through again. So 2 touchdown passes, 1 by Palmer, 1 by Stanton.
Well, that's some good stuff right there, right? A very efficient offensive performance here for the Arizona Cardinals. 1st and 2nd team.
Bridge quarterbacks coach and calling the plays tonight on the left as we welcome you back to our Ford broadcast booth, brought to you by your Arizona Ford dealers. Leftwich, an intern last year, gets hired full-time this year as the quarterbacks coach, and Bruce Arians going to let him call plays tonight and then next week against Chicago.
That's called fast-tracking it, I believe, Gavin.
7-play, 54-yard drive called by Leftwich. Stanton was 4 of 4 passing on that drive. Talking to Carson Palmer earlier in camp about Leftwich. They go way back. They were drafted the same class, and Palmer says he became a fan of Leftwich. Do you remember when Leftwich was at Marshall and he got hurt and his offensive lineman carried him down the field to run the next play? As Mickens returns this to the 15 and lost the ball. Cardinal players say they have it, and they do. They just changed it. One official just stepped in and said, no, Raider ball.
It doesn't matter. That is a thing of beauty right there. You go ahead and you kick the pig off down the field, and then you get 10 Banshees who run down the field with their hair on fire and strip out the pig. This is what the Arizona Cardinals need to develop. This kind of culture on their cover teams in particular. Boy, that is a great job getting the ball out. Inside the 20-yard line, well inside the 20. That is a big-time cover by the Cardinals kickoff cover.
Hard to see that number flash by there on the screen. Maybe we get you a different look as DeAndre Washington is out to about the 17-yard line for 4 yards.
This is what I want to see more of. I want to see the Arizona Cardinals use Phil Dawson, who is probably the best directional kicker in the National Football League. Kick the ball outside the numbers, David, whether it's right or whether it's left, inside the 5-yard line, and demand that your cover team go down and stuff them in a box. We literally used to call that play the coffin kick, because we were going to stuff, metaphorically speaking, the return man into a pine box.
Really, I thought you were being literal as the catch is made by Walford. I'm glad you clarified that that wasn't literal. But, Wolf, now with the rule where the kickoff line is 5 yards up and you barely have kickoffs anymore, why not take advantage? Your chances of covering a kick and keeping a guy short of the 25 are much better than just firing it through the end zone.
If you got that kicker, David, you've got to have that guy that you can guarantee he's going to get it outside the numbers. He's going to put it inside the 5.
By the way, Scooby Wright was the one that forced the fumble on that kickoff. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Manuel going deep. His arm got hit. And it's overthrown, trying for Patterson. Boy, Tremont Williams, age 34, running with Cordero Patterson, who's one of the fastest guys. 5 career kickoff returns for touchdowns. They're hoping Williams still has that speed.
Well, look, he was out on the street for a reason. Let's start with that right there, okay? At this point, you're not going to have guys that are going to the Pro Bowl that are out on the street as training camps have already begun. But let me just say this. That signing is a big one, and I believe it's going to pay dividends for the Arizona Cardinals down the road because this is not his first rodeo. Tramon Williams has been around.
Washington hit in the backfield and spilled, and guess who? Robert Nkemdiche all over it. Also Josh Bynes, 7th NFL season out of Auburn, in on the stop.
Take a look at this right here, David. Have you ever been hit by a flat shovel? That's the flat shovel. Go ahead, boys. Roll it right now. Watch Deach come out and make that play, holding the point, getting off the block. Let me tell you, that guy is going to be a difference maker.
They're counting on it. They lost Calais Campbell in free agency. They need Nkemdiche this year. Manuel hit and sacked. Kareem Martin was there first to the Cardinals.
Well, that is James Betcher right there saying, hey, you know what? The Deach just made a big play. What do you say we go ahead and bring a little pressure after E.J. Manuel? And that's what they did. They brought the dogs, baby.
Josh Bynes in there as well. Bynes trying to make this roster. Cardinals at inside linebacker, because of injuries, have a spot open. Kerwin Williams going to get a chance here to return the punt from Marquette King, one of the best punters in the NFL. He booms that one. Running room, though, for Kerwin Williams. Does his job, right?
Oh, I love that. You have no idea how cool that is to take a punt and stick it and go north.
The Cardinals with an impressive performance in all 3 phases in the first half against the Raiders. Cardinals win. Get 50% off regular menu price pizzas. Use promo code Cardinals50 at papajohns.com. There's a double cheese pepperoni with your name all over it, Wolf, for Monday morning.
Boy, you don't have one, do you?
There might be one over there at halftime.
Guarantee you, I'll bake that thing up and crush it.
How about Drew Stanton? 5 of 6, 61 yards and a touchdown so far. 14-0. Stanton back to work, going for Ellington out of the backfield. Does a lot of same things that David Johnson can do. And you go back to a couple of years ago, they were ready to make the offense all about Andre Ellington. And maybe with now the pressure of trying to just make the roster on his shoulders, we'll get the best of Andre, because it hasn't been there last year. In fact, there was some that thought when he got handoffs last year, he just looked for a way to go down or go out of bounds.
Yeah, David. The thing I think has really stunted the growth of Andre Ellington has been all the injuries that he has suffered, right? And look, it's just one of those situations where you've got to be durable. You've got to be available, and you've got to be durable if you're going to play in the National Football League and build a career in the NFL. And I think because he has not been durable, I think he's had a hard time creating any consistency at this level.
Not sure if there was an issue getting the play call in, and that's why they had to burn a second timeout. One left for the Cardinals.
See, this is the thing that we didn't see in week number 1, right? We didn't see the Cardinals call a timeout because they couldn't actually get the play called in the huddle, which shocked me considering the fact that you had Blaine Gabbert out there. A guy who was new to the system.
Yeah, everything about that game was smooth.
It was.
You know, and last year there was so much hype surrounding the team. It's kind of been nice that no one's talking about the Cardinals this year.
That's exactly right, David.
All the focus is on the field, where I think a lot of guys were focused on some other stuff going into camp last year. Screen pass, Ellington with a one-hand grab. And Ellington able to shake a couple of defenders. Makes it to about the 43, picks up 3 yards. A lot of the Raiders starters on defense are still out there, including nose tackle Justin Ellis, who made the stop.
Well, a great job by the Cardinals running the screen. This is something I think they really need to improve at, David. We haven't seen the Arizona Cardinals be a good screen team since You want to go back to the NFC Championship game?
Best screen pass in Cardinal history, right? Timmy Hightower.
You want to go all the way back to that with T. Hightower. Wow.
3rd down and 3 for the Cardinals on their 43-yard line. Stanton with time and throws a strike to Ross for a first down. The former Raider to the 46-yard line. Jeremy Ross in his 6th NFL season.
Boy, Jeremy Ross, you look at him from the waist down, David. Here's a guy that's a fire hydrant with eyebrows. He is a thick unit from the waist down. You don't see a lot of receivers built like Ross.
Kind of got a Bolden body, right? Anquan Bolden type.
No doubt. Strong and physical.
On the way
to tackle.
Great to see Bolden getting one more year at least in the NFL, signing with Buffalo. And he's traded Sammy Watkins. Stanton over the middle to Ross. Another catch near the 30-yard line. 15 more yards and a first down.
Boy, what a great job in protection. Cole Toner, the young guy, picked up a blitzing linebacker, did a great job on the fly. This is a young guy the Arizona Cardinals are counting on to be that number 6 offensive lineman.
Two-minute warning in Arizona. The season Sanderson Ford will recognize our servicemen and women through the Seats for Soldiers program. This week we honor United States Air Force Staff Sergeant Philip Brake. For more, go to SandersonFord.com. Drew Stanton, 8 of his last 8 passing, including a touchdown. Going to work here and going for 6 points. Instead, it is nearly picked off. Shalom Luani had a chance to intercept that ball on the goal line, couldn't pull it in.
Oh my goodness, right there. That's one that Drew Stanton, I'm sure, would like back. What a play by Luani, playing in that middle of the field. You can see him turn and run on the post. That's a very athletic play by Luani.
So good play or bad read?
Well, you know, listen, to me, it looked like a great play by Luani, playing in the middle of the field right there.
2nd and 10 on the Raider 31. And Ellington able to slip a tackle in the backfield and get positive yardage before he's pushed out inside the 30-yard line. A pickup of about 4 that time for Ellington.
The old sprint draw, also known as the speed draw, right there to Andre Ellington. Remember, on that very formation, on that very play, remember when he took
against Seattle.
Against Seattle.
Yep. Up there.
Huge play by Andre Ellington in Seattle.
Former 6th-round pick out of Clemson. With the injury to T.J. Logan, who the Cardinals drafted in the 5th round this year, that has opened a door for Ellington to find a way on this 53-man roster. Stanton, 3rd and 7 with time, and he dumps it off for a first down. Ellington again out of the backfield, showing his worth as a receiver again.
Boy, how about this right here? Drew Stanton just operating, and Andre Ellington the focal point of that operation.
Stanton with a quick snap and a fire to the end zone. Got an open man, but he overthrew Chris Hubert. Hubert beat Sean Smith. Now, Sean Smith is a starting corner, and he's already been penalized twice, and he just got juked that time by Chris Hubert, but they couldn't connect.
Watch this. Jocks are flying right here. Oh, the sluggo, David. React like you're going to run the slant, and then boom, you release over the top. Hubert was wide open.
2nd and 10. On the 15 of Oakland. Cardinals play the Bears here next week, then at Atlanta and at Denver before starting the regular season at Detroit. Stanton fires across the middle to about the 10-yard line, short of the line to gain about 4 yards. Ifani Moma on the catch. Moma missed most of last year due to injury.
David, this is something I think we're seeing by design here on the Arizona Cardinals offense. We all know Bruce Arians is the bash and bomb, right? Run, attack the middle of the field, and use play action to throw the ball deep down the field. One of the things we saw in November and December last year was getting the ball out more. The quick game, the quick passing game came back for the Arizona Cardinals in November and December because they had all sorts of offensive line problems. Remember that?
Yeah.
Carson Palmer had already taken a ton of hits. I think we're going to see more and more of what we just saw on that last play. Quick little pop to a tight end, Ifeanyi Moma right there, especially if they're going to play zone the way the Raiders are.
I think you would agree the most important thing in 2017 is to keep Carson Palmer healthy.
No doubt.
And so that may mean more quick game. He was sacked 40 times last year, the second most in his career. He was sacked 41 times his first year with the Cardinals. 3rd and 5 for Drew Stanton and the Cardinal offense from the 10. Stanton in the pocket, unloads, incomplete, trying to hit Ellington. Markel Lee in coverage. 4th down, and here comes Phil Dawson.
Boy, that is tough right there. You hit Andre Ellington right in the hands, at least it appeared. He had a chance to catch that ball. Oh, he did.
Got to catch that one. Yep, got to catch that one.
He scores on that play right there. That's going to be a big old minus for Andre, unfortunately. You can see B.A. right there saying, hey, listen, it was right there. Got to catch that. And he whacked him on the helmet.
You saw the pocket poise there of Stanton again, something we talked about throughout this show. As Phil Dawson sneaks that one inside the right upright. As Arizona tacks on 3 more, 17-0 Cardinals. Raiders have 1 timeout remaining. And we'll get the ball with a minute to go. For every successful Cardinals field goal, Signal will make a generous contribution to Cardinals charities benefiting the Christopher's Cure. Wolf, all in all, pretty good first half, huh? All 3 phases, a couple of mistakes, but for the most part, pretty darn good for a preseason game.
My goodness, when you think of the offense and how efficient the offense has been here tonight, you think of the defense, starters actually out there on the field, getting off the field. Then you think of special teams, Phil Dawson out there doing what Phil Dawson does. And then you think they already got a ball out here tonight. And I love also the punt return by Kerwin Williams. Look, I mean, these are the incremental steps that the Cardinals have got to take, especially in transition on special teams, in order to become a good special teams unit. But Kerwin Williams grabbed the ball, moved to his right about 2 steps, and then went north. Man, you got to stoke it, baby.
Jadon Mickens, the deep man, but Dawson hammers that one through the end zone. Well, you mentioned the Cardinals starting the regular season at Detroit. In fact, their first 2 games are on the road on the East Coast. At Detroit, at Indianapolis. The Lions were a playoff team last year. The Colts hovering around 500 the last few years. Andrew Luck, will he be healthy and ready to go? We know one thing for sure, that when the Cardinals play their home opener on Monday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys, unless Ezekiel Elliott wins his appeal, the star running back who led the league in rushing last year for the Cowboys won't play. He was suspended 6 games by the NFL for violating the personal conduct policy. B.J. Manuel back to throw, and the pass low and incomplete at the 30-yard line.
What's so interesting about that is, man, I don't know. Have you looked at the Dallas Cowboys depth chart?
Yeah, they got McFadden, Alfred Morris.
You got Alfred Morris. They got McFadden, and they have Ronnie Hilton.
Yeah. No, they're fine. They got a great offensive line.
And they got a great offensive line.
And they got Des Bryant and Jason Wood.
And Dak Prescott. Pretty good. Look, if there was one position I think they could actually afford to lose a guy, I don't want to trivialize it because, again, Zeke Elliott is a great player. Forget about anything else and what happened and what transpired. But the one thing we know, he's a great player. And typically you don't lose a great player and not miss him. But I think the Cowboys won't miss him very much.
That seems to be the team, though, as Manuel on first down. With a beautiful throw down the seam inside the 40-yard line to Clyde Walford. To the Raiders with 30 seconds to go. They do have a timeout. A pretty pass by Manuel, something he has struggled with, touch passes over the course of his NFL career, something he struggled with at Florida State. He's a big guy. Another on-target throw. Raiders may have to call a timeout here. They're at 10 seconds. They haven't yet. Clock's at 5. They got to call timeout.
You see who made that play out in the flat right there?
Boy, what a mistake, though, by the Raiders. They don't call a timeout until 2 seconds left, so now they have to settle for a field goal and don't get one chance at the end zone.
Buda Baker out there making a tackle. This kid, a lot of people are comparing him to Tyrann Mathieu. You know, for me, David, I'm going to have to see Buda make some plays when the games count.
Sure.
Before I can actually start making that kind of comparison. Because we're talking about one of the best in Tyrann Mathieu, but Buda Baker, an X-Factor guy that I do believe James Betcher's going to move around and use, very similar to Tyrann Mathieu.
Well, if they targeted him in the draft, they thought he was a first-round player when he was still available in the second round. They moved up to get him, and he has maybe been the best rookie in training camp so far. Reddick's been good too, but Baker maybe more so. From 43 yards, that one is good, and the Raiders on the board as Tavecchio puts it through. For the Cardinals lead at halftime, 17-3. Pretty good football all the way around by the Bird Gang. Touchdown passes by Carson Palmer and Drew Stanton. The defense stuffing the Raiders on 4th down and holding them to 3 points. Cardinals big at halftime. 17-3 Cardinals lead Oakland at halftime. Lisa Matthews had a chance to catch up with Cardinals head coach Bruce Arians a moment ago.
Quarterbacks look extremely efficient out there tonight. What do you see from them?
I was very pleased offensively, not pleased defensively. We allowed a field goal after we start the game with a touchdown, and we didn't finish the half. And you know, hopefully we'll start it with our defense first 5 minutes of the third quarter. I thought the offensive execution was outstanding.
Defensively, though, Robert Kondichi all over the field. What do you see from him tonight?
Yeah, he's getting more consistent every week, every practice, and he won't play much more.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Hey, Wolf, you think about what the Cardinals lost with Calais Campbell, right?
Yes.
They're counting on Kimdichie, Morrow, Olsen Pierre, who was on the active roster. You see him there, number 72. He was on the active roster for all 16 games last year. They didn't want to cut him because they knew he'd get picked up. They wouldn't get him through waivers to get him on the practice squad. They're hoping it's a group effort to replace Campbell. But Kimdichie, he can have Calais-like numbers by himself.
Yeah, he's really a different player than Calais Campbell as well, David, because Calais was more of a hold-the-point type 3 technique. He's also a guy that can play the 5 technique over the tackle, of course. But Robert Kimdichie's got to be more of a penetrator, more of a disruptor. It wasn't like Calais had that natural first step that the Deach has got. Robert Kimdichie's got this explosive first step. Calais didn't have that, but he was so long and so strong and used such great technique. He did a great job taking on double teams. Robert Kimdichie has got to be more like an Aaron Donald, frankly. He's got to be a disruptor and a guy that penetrates and makes plays that way.
Well, you've got 2 of the top rushmen in the NFL, at least statistically from last year, in Chandler Jones with 11 sacks, Marcus Golden 12.5 sacks. So those guys demand a lot of attention. That means a lot of one-on-one for Kimdichie.
Well, you better believe that too, David. You take Robert Kimdichie and you stick him on the outside shoulder of a guard in what they call a 3 technique, and then you take Olsen Pierre, somebody you've already mentioned. You take him and put him as the other interior rusher. You know what? You can get 4, and you can get pressure. You can get home by only rushing 4. That's going to be a challenge to James Betcher and his philosophy because he likes to bring more.
Just think, too, when they get Hassan Reddick to rush the passer, because that's what he did in college. That's one of the reasons why he got drafted so high, because of his ability to get to the quarterback. But we've seen Reddick so versatile. I mean, how many linebackers have we seen cover David Johnson? Reddick has done it in practice time and again.
He's run with him. There's no doubt about it. I saw it with my own eyes. I wouldn't have believed it unless I saw it with my own eyes, and I did. Hassan Reddick running in stride with David Johnson.
They got so many options, including blitz packages, right, with Badger, Buda Baker. We know Tyrann when healthy. Terrific pass rusher. Here's George Atkinson on the kick return for the Raiders, and he can't make it to the 25. So E.J. Manuel played the entire first half at quarterback for the Raiders with Derek Carr not going tonight. The guy that's in there now was put in a very difficult position last year. Connor Cook, who was drafted in the 4th round a year ago. Derek Carr goes down. Potential MVP breaks his leg, and then Matt McGloin was the backup. He goes out with an injury, so Connor Cook has to start a playoff game, throws 3 picks in a road game in Houston, and the Raiders lose when a lot of people prior to Carr's injury thought Oakland was a Super Bowl team.
12-4. A disaster struck.
First down on the 19-yard line. Cook pass way high, intended for Johnny Holton. Incomplete. Cook was a very good player at Michigan State. A lot was made of the fact that he was not a captain, even as a 5th-year senior quarterback, and there were a lot of teams that were concerned about that, about some other things, and he dropped. He had first-round ability, Wolf, but he dropped to the 4th round.
And rightfully so, David. Honestly, you've got to be a leader if you're going to play corner or you're going to play quarterback in the NFL. You have to. I think of Jay Cutler. Here's Jay Cutler, a guy that has all the talent in the world, but that's always been his knock.
Cook's pass caught at the 24-yard line, a gain of about 5.
And I know, David, there's a lot of people that say, yeah, look at the numbers Jay Cutler has posted, rightfully so. I'm a Jay Cutler fan. I will tell you right now, I mean, the guy, his arm talent, I'll put up against Aaron Rodgers. I'll put it up against anybody in the league. But for whatever reason, it just hasn't resonated with a lot of his teammates.
Heck of a run as a broadcaster, huh?
Oh, boy.
Didn't even make it to week 1. But for $10 million, I think a lot of people would leave the booth to get one more shot, which Cutler did with the Dolphins. Cook on 3rd down and 5 gets hit as he throws, and it's broken up. Incomplete. Look at Budda Baker. That closing speed on the receiver. 4th down.
Well, once again, there was a game being run, a 4-man rush. The Cardinals actually brought a little game inside. Look at Deach on the TE right there. Tackle first end underneath. And then watch Budda Baker right here make a play on the ball. That's why they compare him to Tyrann Mathieu. The burst in that short area. Make a play on the ball. Pass defended, ball skills.
Marquette King, terrific punter. One thing the Raiders have had for years, whether it was Shane Leckler or King, the best punters in the game. A beauty there. Ross on the fair catch at the 18-yard line.
Well, I can't have that out of Jeremy Ross in that situation. That was a returnable punt. Would have been a close play. The gunner, no doubt. But man, you know what? Honestly, I got to make that catch and run. Take that baby north. Speaking of that, look at Budda Baker right here.
Blaine Gabbert in at quarterback now. We'll likely see him the entire second half. He was 11 of 14 for 185 yards last week against Dallas. He led the team on 2 scoring drives. He also converted on a 2-point play.
Like the eye black. Smear it up.
You don't want to get it in your eye, though, as Elijah Penny. It's about a yard or 2 at 230 pounds. Oh, we talked in the first half, Wolf, about Gabbert. 40 career starts, but he's played for so many different coaches.
I just don't know how he can actually go out there and even call a play when you've been in 7 different systems in 7 years. Look, offensive coordinators, they have different terminology, and it's no wonder that Blaine Gabbert has struggled. Now, what happens if he gets 2 years in a row with the same coaching staff? We're going to find out, I think, because I think he's going to make the team.
In trouble here. Gets out of there and then brought down for a sack. Trayvon Hester got him. Well, remember back in 2011, Blaine Gabbert was available when the Cardinals were picking number 5. The Cardinals needed a quarterback. A lot of people said, take Gabbert. They did. They took Patrick Peterson. It worked out great. Well, now they have Gabbert as well. Gabbert was taken by Jacksonville and was there for 3 years. 3 years in San Francisco, and now with Arizona.
The guy has everything it possibly takes to play quarterback in the NFL. He's got the size. He's 6'4", 235 pounds, and he has a laser for an arm.
Cardinals just going to be conservative here on 3rd and long and run the ball. And they get back near the line of scrimmage with Elijah Penny carrying it. 4th down.
I really like Elijah Penny. We want to talk about a guy that's a tough tackle now. He represents a bit of a change-up to David Johnson and Chris Johnson, of course, just based on how he runs the ball. He's a big physical dude.
Richie Leone on the punt. He and Matt Weil and perhaps others are in the mix for the punting job. This is a great kick by Leone. Kind of an awkward catch there by Mickens. Gets a big block. And down the sideline, Mickens steps out at the 37-yard line. It's a 58-yard punt by Richie Leone. Bidwell of the Arizona Cardinals, not pictured. General Manager Steve Keim. And to the left there of Michael Bidwell is, I believe, a future general manager in the National Football League, Terry McDonough, the vice president player personnel for the Cardinals. He's done a tremendous job with this organization. Interviewed for the 49ers job last year. Nicole Bidwell in the picture as well, part of the ownership group of the Cardinals.
Yeah, Terry McDonough. Ryan McDonough, of course, his brother, general manager for the Phoenix Suns.
His other brother, Sean McDonough, voice of Monday Night Football.
Let me tell you, Terry McDonough is indeed going to be a general manager at some point in time. It's just a matter of time with that guy. You want to talk about somebody intense, David? That is one intense brother.
Here's Crockett on the carry, wrapped up in the backfield and brought down by Josh Bynes, who's made several plays in this game so far. Bynes in his 7th NFL season out of Auburn.
Well, you can see that right there. Josh Bynes, right, making a play. You got to love it. This day and age, you can actually grow your hair out to where it covers your back name, right? I mean, back when I was playing, David, you could not have your hair hanging out the back of your helmet.
So your mullet wouldn't go all the way down?
There would have been some bad things that would have happened.
Don't ignore the question. You did have a mullet, though. Connor Cook's pass juggled and incomplete. Still haven't answered the question.
First of all, I never had a mullet, David, for the record. I never had a mullet. I had a rat tail. I had a rat tail that was actually braided, sticking out of the back because that's because of fella Nico Noga, my Samoan brother, who actually mentored me, taught me everything I know for the most part about special teams. I wanted to be like Nico.
So I saw Matt Millen over there who's doing the Raiders television broadcast. Did you try to yank on that thing ever when you guys met in the hole?
Matt Millen, I'll guarantee you right now, that was a bad man.
Great run for a first down on the dump-off pass by John Crockett. On 3rd and 12, the Cardinals defense can't get off the field. Eventually, Buda Baker on the stop, but it's a big play of about 30 yards.
Well, right here, you can actually see it. Scooby Wright getting covered up right there at the point of attack, right? You got Bynes down the field as well. Well executed by the Raiders. At some point, you just got to tip your cap to them and say, hey, well executed. Nice job.
Officially a 29-yard pickup. Crockett again, the running back. And here's an end around to Mickens inside the 30. Flag down. Mickens. Oh, big hit by Mickens on Harlan Miller. Mickens isn't a big guy, but he laid the lumber that time. But again, a penalty flag is down near the line of scrimmage on the near side of the field.
Yeah, Harlan Miller probably telling Mickens something about it too. You know what? Hey, listen, dude, I just want you to know I wasn't trying on that or something. This is why you've always got to bone up. You've got to defend your property. You got to defend your space. Your right to lay the lumber to somebody else.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense number 48. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. First down.
That's on Gump Hayes, undrafted rookie out of Arizona State.
You can see Mickens right here at the end of the play. He's going to kind of finish that off, right? My goodness, if you've run all that way, Harlan Miller, why not dip the shoulder and get your pound of flesh? That's what I would say.
Well, Miller trying to make the team as a safety slash corner. He's really a safety. They've had to have him play some corner because of injury. First and goal for the Raiders on the 7-yard line. Cook to the end zone, incomplete, but another flag. Buda Baker may have had a hold of Gabe Holmes, the intended receiver.
No, we're going to have to wait and see.
Pass interference. Defense number 36. That foul occurred in the end zone. The ball we placed at the 1 yard line. Automatic. First down.
Let's go ahead and take a look at Budda Baker right here. Yeah, ball's in the air. You get that kind of contact, put your hands on it. No doubt about it, that was an easy call right there. Well, you know, it's a learning experience for Budda Baker.
He's going to make some mistakes.
This isn't college, David.
First down and goal on the 1. And they run Crockett, and he's in. Touchdown, Oakland. Now the Raiders have scored the last 9 points after the Cardinals started out leading 17-0. John Crockett from North Dakota State, second NFL season with a 1-yard score.
That was a nice job right there. You can see they brought Harlan Miller. They brought him on a blitz. Looked like he was going to make the play on Crockett. Crockett cut it back on the other side of the football. Took it behind the center's butt to the other A-gap. Actually got that thing in. Watch him actually make the cut right there. Harlan Miller getting ready to make the play. Crockett did a nice job using his vision, making that cut, taking it back and scoring.
Giorgio Tavecchio is in for the extra point attempt.
Giorgio Tavecchio.
Tough to try to make this roster when you get Janikowski, although as you said earlier, there's a chance that Janikowski won't win the job this year at age 39.
He's fighting for his job, no doubt.
Gets the extra point, 17-10, Arizona.
Boy, Giorgio Tavecchio, this kind of makes you feel like you could travel abroad, right, David? You could travel abroad and somehow survive if you could just say Giorgio Tavecchio.
So the Cardinals lead is down to 7, 17-10 early third quarter. Inside, outside all day or all night. The card by Gila River Casinos gives you the power to play your way. Sign up today at any Gila River hotel and casino location. Dave Pasch alongside Ron Wolfley. Larry Fitzgerald is done for the night. Played a few snaps on that opening possession where the Cardinals scored a 14-play drive. Palmer with a touchdown pass to Britton Golden.
Yeah, Larry barely got a grease in the crease.
Good. He doesn't need to be playing right now. How about it led the league in catches last year at age 32?
Incredible athlete, really is.
Here's Ross on the return, kind of stumbled and does not get to the 15-yard line. Not only did Larry lead the NFL in catches, but he was the co-Walter Payton Man of the Year, along with Eli Manning. Larry's so valuable to the NFL as a athlete, but also as an ambassador. You just watch him in camp and practice and how he nurtures all the young players. Doesn't matter how many Pro Bowls or the fact that he's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. He treats everybody the same.
It is amazing to me the transformation he has gone through. You got to remember, this is a guy that didn't like to get a little dirty, didn't like blood in the mouth, if you know what I mean. BA moved him inside into the slot. When you play from the slot, you're going to get a little blood in the mouth.
Gabbard, who is an excellent athlete, by the way, stepped out of bounds at the 12, so he actually lost a couple of yards.
Just going back to Larry Fitzgerald, David, I mean, this guy has become maybe the best blocking slot receiver in the National Football League. I think of Heinz Ward, did the same thing with his Pittsburgh Steelers. They moved him inside, right? BA took him, and suddenly Heinz Ward took off because of that slot position. Larry has done the exact same thing. His humility has allowed him to embrace that position, and because he's embraced it, his numbers have exploded.
2 years ago, 109 catches, had the game-winning touchdown against Green Bay in the playoffs, and we all wondered, could he do it again next year? Well, he did. He almost had as many catches. Can he do it again in 2017? There was no talk in the media. I don't know if Larry actually ever really considered retirement or not, but pretty early on, Fitz decided he would come back for at least one more season. All right, let's check it now with Lisa Matthews, who's standing by with the great Patrick Peterson.
Yes, here alongside Patrick Peterson and Carson Palmer, Bruce Arians saying this is the best you've ever looked. Do you feel that way going into year 7?
I mean, if they said it, I guess I'm looking pretty good throughout camp. But I feel the same. You know, just another age on the another year on the age, but for the most part, I feel smooth. I feel good. Just looking forward to a successful season this year.
Tonight, first game action for you. How did it feel just getting out there, going up against someone other than yourselves?
It feels good. You know, it's always a good feeling when you can come out here and play in front of your home crowd, go out there, get a good sweat in right before the season opener.
A lot of the younger guys continually look up to you. I watch them in practice. How much pride do you take in that, knowing that all eyes are always on you?
I take a lot of pride in that because those young guys honestly helped me be the player that I am today, to help me stay on top of my game, because I know ultimately they're chasing to be in my spot. So I always want to show those guys how to work, how to get the job done, and also how to be a professional.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, Lisa, here's Jadon Mickens on the return for the Raiders, and he's wrapped up at the 40-yard line by Elijah Penny. Great to hear from Patrick. Pat P's been to 6 Pro Bowls in 6 years. Might be the best corner in the National Football League. Good coverage by the punt unit there for Arizona. Battling Richie Leone for the punting job. Your Arizona four-dealer kick to win sweepstakes is back for the 2017 season. You could win a 2-year lease on a 2018 Ford F-150. Go to buyfordnow.com and stay tuned for info and registration details.
We need more punts like that right there, David. What you need out of that punter, first of all, you got to get that thing off 1.2, 1.2, at the very latest 1.25 you'll accept. The snap, grabbing it, getting it off. You also need 45 yards out of that on average, 45 yards and 4.5. That's what you need in today's NFL.
Just told that one went 65 yards.
Crushed it.
Connor Cook off play action, and he dumps it off to Pharaoh Brown. Big tackle by Gump Hayes on Pharaoh. Upends him at the 46-yard line, sawed him off.
Oh my goodness. Did you see Gump Hayes come up and saw the legs off? This is... Go ahead, boys. Go ahead and run this thing, because great play action right there. You dump it off on the boot on the backside, and then watch Gump Hayes.
Oh, man, he landed on his head.
That right there is a face plant, my brothers. Have you ever been high-load on a smoke-filled room on a Friday night, David?
Not sure what you're inferring there. Trying to get outside that time. Atkinson pushed out after a gain of about 5 at the 41-yard line.
So what you're saying, David, is you've never been in a boot parade in
a
smoky pool hall somewhere?
I know you have, going back to your bouncer days in Morgantown.
You know, the high-low is basically where somebody hits you low and somebody
I know what it
high.
is. It just hasn't happened to me.
My goodness. Gump Hayes. Why so bellicose?
2nd and 5 for the Raiders at the Cardinal 41. Cook gets rid of it, and Bynes with another good play, this time in coverage. Josh Bynes has made some big hits, and now on the tight end, Gabe Holmes sticks his hand to there, knocks the ball away. 3rd down.
David, can you watch Josh Bynes and just see that this kid has played the NFL before? I mean, he's not surprised. That is making a play on the ball right there. This guy's what? This is his 7th season in the league? This isn't his first rodeo. Josh Bynes pushing to make this team.
You've got Dayon Buchanan, Hassan Reddick, Carlos Dansby, and Scooby Wright. Right now, those are their top 4 inside backers. Gabe Martin out with an injury. Will Josh Bynes make the roster? Cook's pass caught, a 1st down. Sojourn Shelton in coverage gave a lot of room that time to Johnny Holton, and they're able to move the sticks.
Boy, that's a nice throw right there as well, Connor Cook. Putting a little zip on that ball out there, throwing it on a line, right? It's a nice, well-executed play, Johnny Holton. Look at me, coach. I made a play. Look at me.
Well, Sojourn Shelton was hoping to turn some heads tonight with some uncertainty at cornerback because of injury. Shelton, an undrafted rookie out of Wisconsin. Cook down the sideline. What a catch! Was he inbounds? The officials are discussing. It was a great grab by Johnny Holton. He thought he was out of bounds. He's running back to the huddle, which was back near the line of scrimmage, but one official's got his cap off, which would tell you that the receiver went out of bounds.
Therefore, the ruling is an incomplete pass.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't even think he caught the ball in bounds to begin with, but because he stepped out, did not reestablish, yeah, he's out there.
Yeah, and he landed out of bounds.
Landed out of bounds.
So, I mean, yeah, it's.
Should have been an easy
What do they
call.
call that, David? Is that double jeopardy? Is that it right there? He got not hit only once, but twice. Incomplete pass.
Wolfleyisms for 1,000, please. 2nd and 10 at the 34. Cook, fade pattern. I'm not sure the receiver saw the ball. Johnny Holt. Sojourn Shelton was running with him down the sideline. It'll bring up 3rd and 10. Got an injured offensive lineman for the Raiders. Denver Kirkland shaken up.
Well, as we know, there's a real battle at that cornerback position on this team. They've been looking for a long time for that corner opposite of Patrick Peterson. And they've got some candidates. There's no doubt about it. Justin Bethel being in the forefront of that. Tramon Williams, I would say, as well, between those two guys. And who knows, David, what's going to happen when the cuts start happening, right? Especially this year, you can actually see where maybe Steve Keim and his staff might be bringing in some corners.
Let's take a look at the injury here to Kirkland. Josh Bynes coming around the edge, and then he got tangled up with Alex Bazzi, another defensive end for the Cardinals. Just to finish up on your point, a rule change this year with the cuts. They'll keep 90 on the roster all the way through that final preseason game and then cut down to 53. You thought it was stressful on these guys to keep track of the waiver wire before? Well, now you've got to do it in a hurry. And I was talking with several scouts, and they said, look, they have everybody in the system. All the undrafted players from this year, all the draft picks from last year, all the veterans, they have notes on so that when the cuts start happening, they're prepared.
Yes.
Because you can only make so many waiver claims. You just can't try to claim everybody, so you got to be strategic with how you go about doing it.
Yeah, and I also think, too, it's going to be a situation where a lot of teams, because of that rule now, you're going to have these mass exodus, these cuts. I think they're going to try to hide players.
And talking with BA, we asked him this week, are you still going to cut veteran players early so they can sign elsewhere? He said, we've had problems, though, as Cook's pass is caught close to a first down as Mickens. It's happened to several teams where they've made that cut before the 4th preseason game, and then with the guys that play in the 4th preseason game, there's injuries. And now they've got to send somebody in that they weren't going to play in the first place that was going to make the roster into that last preseason game, and then he gets hurt. That actually happened to the Cardinals last year. So that's a reason why a lot of teams will not release anybody until that final weekend before the regular season. It is a first down for Oakland at the 23. Another run play. Atkinson stood up. Gain of maybe 2. Bynes in there again.
Boy, Alex Bazzi did an excellent job at the point of attack right there against that tackle zone. Alex Bazzi has been impressive. Made some plays off the edge, did a great job setting the edge on that tackle zone right there and do it in a very strong, physical way.
Former BC Lion, played in the CFL.
Well, they apparently taught him how to set the edge in the CFL.
2nd and 8. Connor Cook to throw with time. And a big hit, jarring the ball free. It's picked up by Harlan Miller. They roll it a catch. Josh Bynes with a huge hit on the tight end Holmes to poke the ball loose. Harlan Miller fell on the ball. The officials are still uncertain, though, what happened. One official I actually think called it incomplete, but the others were acting as if it was a completion. Remember, all turnovers are reviewed, and then we have a new system where they're going to have the tablet instead of going into the hood like they used to. They'll have a tablet on the field in New York will actually make the final ruling on all instant replay.
Is a catch and a fumble recovered by the defense. The defensive player has been down by contact. Arizona's ball, first down.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. When Harlan Miller recovered the ball, he lost it. Isaac Whitney actually ended up with it for the Raiders, but they ruled that Harlan Miller was down by contact. So you got a couple things to look at. First of all, whether it was a catch, and then second, whether Harlan Miller was down by contact.
Well, watch this right here. You've got Holmes coming across, and right there you see the contact, the flat shovel that was Bynes on that play right there. That is a physical tackle. Boy, Josh Bynes, you want to talk about impressing? He's made a couple of plays here tonight.
Is now under review.
So we're going to have our first review of the night. Now again, all scoring plays, all turnovers are reviewed, but this is the first time we'll have further review. And again, instead of coming into the hood, you're going to see the official stop at about the 20-yard line. The referee will be handed a headset where he can talk to New York. Al Riveron is in charge back in New York. He'll also have, you see there, the tablet where he can look at to see the play himself. And they'll work in tandem, and ultimately the decision will come from New York on instant replay.
Okay, so this guy right here is important, right? He's got the tablet, the holder of the tablet. You can see, right, you need some extra support too. Right here, David, you got the shoulder strap just in case things get a little wild.
And if you know you're going to be on TV, you might have a sweet looking goatee as well, which he does there. You can kind of see it. You can telestrate it if you want, Wolf.
I am the holder of the tablet.
He gave you a little shot of that. So again, was it a catch? And then was Miller down by contact here by Connor Cook? Boy, it's hard to tell. Did the ball come out?
Yeah.
Before the knee went down.
How about Connor Cook with a physical tackle?
Yeah.
As the cue. Might want to put a neck roll on him. Look at this right here, Bynes. That's blood farming, Dave. Did you see that? Where did he take the cage of his helmet and where did he put it on?
On the knuckles.
Right on the knuckles. Blood farmer Josh Bynes.
I'd love to know the person that's watching this at a bar right now with closed caption only. When they see blood farming come up on the screen, their reaction.
After review, the ruling on the field stands as called. Arizona's ball.
So when they say that, the ruling on the field stands, that means they don't have enough video evidence to either overturn the call on the field or confirm it. So they'll just use the language, the ruling on the field stands.
Thank you for that explanation,
well, people sometimes hear it and they say, what do you mean the ruling on the field stands? That's because they didn't have enough evidence. And you have to be 100% certain to overturn the ruling on the field. And the video didn't show that. Big hole here. Straight ahead for Penny out to the 40-yard line, a 9-yard run.
Look, have you ever heard of this, that, the other thing, David? Have you ever heard of that? You go ahead and you take this right here and you move it with that right here. Here's the other thing you're going to get. Go ahead, boys. I mean, this is 22 double, and that's about as physical as you're going to get at the point of attack, baby. That is the power without the pull going north and south.
You're getting a little carried away with a telestrator. Can you move over to the right a little bit?
Confidence is a beautiful thing, David.
You're falling in love with that thing. Penny with a first down, moving the pile out to the 46-yard line. I think the truck has created a monster here with you in the telly, giving you free reign to draw up here. Can you hand me that pen?
It's a beautiful thing when the telestrator has telestration.
Elijah Penny trying to make the roster. You mentioned the fact change of pace guy because of his size. He was on the practice squad last year with the Cardinals out of Idaho.
All I know is I'll guarantee you they did some blood farming up there in Idaho.
First down for the Cards on their 46. Gabbard still in at quarterback. Quick pass here out on the flat to Bundy, and Bundy has a first down. Out of bounds at the 42. Gain of 12 on the play.
How about Blaine Gabbard operating right there with the hootie-hoo? You look out there, they were actually going to run a different play, and Blaine Gabbard says, no, hey, Bundy, you see what I see right here? Hootie-hoo, hootie-hoo. Snap the ball and gun it right out to him. You go ahead, the corner's playing off, you go ahead and gain a first down, and that's exactly what Bundy did.
Back to Penny on first down, lowers the shoulder. And brought down by 3 Raiders after a 2-yard pickup. We touched on this in the first half. And in asking Bruce Arians this week about the quarterback situation, is it possible you might keep 3? He said it's going to come down to, is that third quarterback, whether it's Gabbert or Stanton, more valuable than a 5th corner, a 6th receiver, an extra defensive lineman? It's not just you're weighing the 2 guys at quarterback to decide whether to keep 3. It's against the other positions, because special teams comes into play then. Short set for Gabbert, and nice catch made by Krishawn Hogan, a Fitz lookalike who's out of Marion, the rookie.
Krishawn Hogan has made some plays in practice, and I had to get the roster out and look at him. I wanted to say croissant, but it was Krishawn, obviously. And this guy's made some plays up. I don't know if you've noticed that, David. Every time you've showed up, I know you talk an awful lot during practice, but
third and 2, Penny just buries himself into the defense, just burrowing into defenders to try to move the sticks, and it looks like he did. First down.
What a thing of beauty that was right there. You know what? Look, football is a physical game, especially at the point of attack, when you got a guy who's 240 pounds who's willing to dip it and rip it.
Fresh set of downs on the Raiders 32 in the final minute of the third quarter. Penny gets the call again. Wrapped up after a gain of 3. And we're just 45 seconds away from what you fondly call. Go ahead.
The witching hour. Fourth quarter of every preseason game.
Although you'll have to admit, there were a few strange happenings last week, but for the most part, it was a pretty clean fourth quarter.
It was. But that typically is the exception in the preseason, not the rule. The rule is you're going to see the weirdest stuff in the fourth quarter of a preseason game. The witching hour.
Was that the quarter where you got planted by the fridge? and you thought you had blacked out, but it was actually his gut wrapped around your helmet, refrigerator Perry. Is that true? Was that the fourth quarter?
It was the fourth quarter. Thank you, David, for that memory. I appreciate it.
Wolf thought he blacked out at Soldier Field, but then he said, I hear things, so I'm still conscious, and then realized it was the fridge's gut wrapped around his helmet. What will the fourth quarter bring us tonight? 17-10, Arizona after 3. Trying to add to their lead as we start the fourth quarter. They have a 3rd and 2 at the Raider 23. Elijah Penny has 6 carries for 32 yards on this drive alone. We'll see if they give it to him here in short yardage. They do. Penny able to break a tackle and get the first down to the 19-yard line. Tyrell Adams hit him first, but Penny just bounced off him and moved the sticks.
Yeah. Watch this right here. This is Tyrell Penny right here, I believe. Watch this guy get his back waxed trying to make this tackle. Coming downhill, bam! Oof. He got lit up like Bieber's beach house at the point of attack, man. That's what Elijah Penny brings to the table, the physicality at the point.
I've clearly enabled you. Gabbert hit as he throws, but Ross can't come up with it in the end zone. It would have been a touchdown. That was a terrific play by Blaine Gabbert. I mean, he got smoked, and you talked about his arm strength. How did he get that ball to the end zone with that kind of hit on him?
Well, watch this right here, Blaine Gabbert. My goodness, that hurt the sternum. Down he goes, helmet to the sternum, and the ball is still delivered. It was too easy.
Oh.
I mean, I realize Ross was going down, but he'll tell you right now, he's got to make that catch.
Ross hurt himself on that play. Now, again, he's trying to make this roster. Cardinals might keep 6 receivers because that 6th guy would be a special teams guy. Ross is a good special teams player. Here's Penny, and he gets upended. The safety, Shalom Luwani, coming in there. 8 of 1 on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and long here for Arizona. I've clearly enabled you because you're just having way too much fun here with a telly. And I know that with radio, because the play-by-play guy talks so much that you barely can get in, and now this is the analyst's medium, television. So you're just eating this up. I'm over here in a corner, and you've got 3 monitors and all this space.
How the telestrator responds. It works. It beckons. Does it not?
3rd and 8 on the 17. Gabbert in trouble. Down he goes, sacked at the 26-yard line. LaTroy Lewis for the Raiders, and that will force the Cardinals to attempt a field goal.
I've got to do a better job right there, especially against the 4-man rush, but there was time initially for Blaine Gabbert. That's just a missed opportunity going all the way back to the Jeremy Ross situation. You can see B.A. giving him a mouthful too as he runs to the sideline. Bruce Arians going to rip up everybody. Doesn't matter who you are.
43-yard try from Dawson, and it's on the money, splitting the uprights. Bill Dawson, originally a college free agent with the Raiders back in 1998. 19 years later, he's a member of the Bird Gang. Just gave the Cardinals a 10-point lead. Our Ford broadcast booth brought to you by your Arizona Ford dealers. We're going to go back to break in a second, but in order to keep the audience here for the kickoff, we've had several requests. Can you please explain exactly what blood farming is to the audience?
Look, a blood farmer is a football player that takes the screws on top of his helmet. Okay, you've seen the chin strap. The buckle's high, takes his face mask, maybe the buckles as well, and he sticks it right on the hand that's holding the ball. And we used to call them blood farmers because obviously back in the day, not everyone wore gloves. As a matter of fact, few wore gloves, and your hand would split apart when the buckles hit it. And a guy who tackled the ball that way was called a blood farmer.
I think the embodiment of blood farming is in the building tonight in former Raider Matt Millen, who's in the Raider TV booth tonight. Holton on the return, breaks a tackle past the 20-yard line. Cardinals turning back inside, and he's brought down to the 27. And when we come back, you'll hear from David Johnson, the all-pro running back for the Arizona Cardinals. 20-10, Arizona leads.
There's no doubt Dave is he's very unique. His skill set is unlike probably any other running back in the NFL. There's definitely, through the history of the league, been a handful of guys that are just different and built different and move differently. He's no doubt one of those guys.
Welcome back, everyone. Lisa Matthews here alongside running back David Johnson. You're poised to have another big year. Just what are some things that you worked on this offseason to prepare?
I think the biggest thing I worked on was pass protection, knowing my guy, knowing what I have, and then being an effective blocker. Then another thing I worked on really was my routes. I had a lot of missed ran routes last year that I wanted to correct on, and so that's one of the two big things I worked on.
It's really no secret. A big goal of yours is to get 1,000 yards rushing and receiving. You were so close last season. What would it mean to accomplish that this year?
It mean a lot. It mean a tremendous amount. All the hard work, all the sweat, all the grinding through all the practices. And then the biggest thing is, it lets me know that I'm learning and that, all that learning is finally came off to have some success.
You've said that this year for you, you're playing for Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald, as that window is getting narrow. What have they meant to you in your profession?
They mean a lot. They're the two main guys that's been the biggest mentors to me. Carson really has taught me so much, especially on the blitz protection, teaching me how to block or who to block, teaching me fronts and which guy I have. And then Larry just been teaching me on and off the field. He's been teaching me how to be a dominant receiver, how to catch the ball. Larry is known to have such great catching. And then off the field, he's just taught me how to be a professional, how to carry myself, how to conduct myself in interviews and stuff. So I've learned a lot from him too.
And it's the first night that baby DJ is here in the stands, correct? What does it feel like for you being a dad and knowing that your son's in the stands? May not know what's going on, but he's here.
I'm very proud to have my son and my wife here. supporting me. You know, he might not know what's going on, but it's a proud moment for me.
Thanks, David.
Wolf, what realistically is the next step for David Johnson, who led the NFL last year in yards from scrimmage and touchdowns with 20?
I absolutely love the fact that he nailed it himself. His humility, once again, allows him to look at himself and see where it is that he needs to get better. And where he needs to get better is in blitz pickup.
Here's Johnny Holton on the end around, first down.
You've got to be able to identify those second and third level blitzers and pick them up, especially if you're in the Bruce Arians system. You've got to know who it is that you're responsible for, and not only that, you can't break routes. This is where David Johnson is different than every other running back, including Le'Veon Bell in the National Football League. The fact that you can split him out wide as a number one receiver to either side, split him out on the perimeter wide, put him in the slot, and have him run wide receiver routes and throw him the ball with the intention of throwing it to a wide receiver.
Hassani Tassini with a nice play. Tackle for a loss of about 3 yards. David Johnson caught 80 passes last year, but he's such a weapon as a receiver. It's interesting in talking with a lot of players and coaches, former Indianapolis Colts and guys like Bruce Arians. Marshall Faulk is the player that comes to mind when talking about David Johnson. But they say that with Marshall Faulk, he knew the offense inside and out. He was as smart, almost as smart as Peyton Manning when they played together briefly there for the Colts. That's what they want from David Johnson, better understanding of the offense.
No doubt about it, David. And again, this is a situation where he's got to become accustomed to it. He's coming from northern Iowa. They ran a completely different offense, obviously, than what he's seeing here. The schemes are so much more developed on the defensive side of the ball. It'll just blow a college kid's mind. This is David Johnson's third season in the NFL. This guy is on track to becoming an NFL running back that is in a class by himself, in my opinion, okay? And I know a lot of people say Lev Bell's in that class, and I think Lev Bell is a better runner with the football right now than David is at this point. But I don't think Lev Bell can actually do the things that David Johnson does on the perimeter.
Raiders running on 3rd and long, and the Cardinals are all over it. Cappy makes the play for the Cards out of Akron. He spent some time on the Cardinals practice squad last year. You need to try David Johnson's almost full vegan diet.
No way. Couldn't do it. Broccoli casserole.
How long do you think you could last?
I did 3 hours. I'll never forget that. My older brother Craig actually played 12 years in the National Football League. Year number 7, he went vegetarian, eating nothing but broccoli casserole in the offseason. Lost like 30 pounds, but didn't want to play football anymore. I told him to go get some cheeseburgers, eat the cheeseburgers, do it every day, and if he wanted to retire, it was more, you know what, go ahead, retire if that's really what you wanted to do. He went on to play 5 more years because he ate a cheeseburger every day down at the corner.
David Johnson, stay away from the burgers, dude. You look fine. You don't need them. Solid night for the Cardinals offense in the first half. Carson Palmer with a touchdown pass to Britton Golden. Drew Stanton with the other touchdown pass for Arizona in that first half.
Really impressive stuff right here, just watching Drew Stanton buy himself a little time getting out of the pocket. And there's Troy Nicholas, just a massive human being who plays the game of football with a dark heart and a big grin on his face.
As opposed to a dark heart and a painted face, right?
Indeed.
That's the opposite of that. One catch for Nicholas last year. Here's Bundy on the grab. He gets picked up and suplexed at the 34, but it's a first down, gain of 12. Nicholas played in just 3 games last year because of a wrist injury, now in his 4th season. Obviously, Jermaine Gresham is their number 1 tight end, but they like to use a number of tight ends. So you're hoping Nicholas can be your number 2, and maybe Fani Moma or Hakeem Velez is a reliable 3rd.
Yeah, B.A. loves to use tight ends. My goodness, he loves 13 personnel. 1 back, 3 tight ends. Uses it often.
Gabbert, as a flag flies, takes off and again shows what a good athlete he is out of bounds near the 40-yard line, picking up 5. We'll see if it comes back, though.
You know, this is something that Bruce Arians was talking about, Byron Leftwich as well. The fact that Blaine Gabbert had a habit of one read and then run. They've really worked with him since he's shown up here, and he's doing a much better job of not just one read
There
and
are
run.
2 fouls on the play, 1 by each team. Holding, 69 on the offense. Holding, number 25 on the defense. Both fouls will offset. Replay, first down.
By the way, you mentioned Byron Leftwich. Bruce Arians allowing Leftwich to call plays for the first time tonight. Remember, he's only been a quarterback coach here for a few months. There's Leftwich up in the booth. He got rave reviews at halftime about how he handled himself in that booth calling plays. He was a backup on that Super Bowl team that beat the Cardinals. That's where he had that relationship with Bruce Arians when BA was running the offense for Mike Tomlin on that team back in 2009.
That's a beautiful thing right there. Big Elijah Penny running the double, the power without the pull. You know, that is my favorite play. Let's go ahead and double the 1 technique. We'll double the 3 and we'll double the 5. We'll just slam it in there with 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends. Maybe even go 13. Give it to Elijah Penny. Let him rip that thing for 5. What a thing of beauty that is.
From the 39, 2nd and 5. Gabbert to throw. Just off the mark, intended for Hogan. So 3rd and 5 coming up. And Gabbert was drafted by Jacksonville when Jack Del Rio was the head coach there. Del Rio drafted Byron Leftwich as well in Jacksonville.
You want to talk about a blood farmer.
Del Rio?
Del Rio.
Good linebacker.
You take that bucket. And he's got a bucket now on top of the shoulders. You take that bucket, David, and I mean, I guarantee you, he's going to shred your hands.
Wait till Jack finds out you were commenting about the size of his dome. 3rd and 5, Gabbert's pass caught for a first down. Del Rio in his 3rd year with the Raiders got him to 12 wins and a playoff berth for the first time in 15 years.
I'm telling you right now, you get down, this thing is like a garbage can. And I say that with all due respect to Jack Del Rio. No, I'm being serious, David. I guarantee you.
How many fist fights did you guys have in the hole when you guys met in the hole?
It was more like headbutts, bro. It was Jack Del Rio putting that bucket on you. Him and Shane Conley. Those 2 guys right there, I guarantee you better have a garbage can on top of your head.
Gabbert off play action, gets out of there, heads for the sideline and steps out, gets positive yardage, gain of about 4 to the 49 of Oakland.
That was one tough Mike backer, Jack Del Rio. You better have it strapped up, baby. I mean, every play, because he brought it.
Got some Cardinal connections on the Raiders staff. Reggie McKenzie is the general manager of the Raiders.
There's another
the
guy
Cardinals.
who brought it every play.
Rob Moore, former Cardinal wide receiver, has been the wide receivers coach for the Raiders the last couple of years. Gets to work with guys like Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree, neither of whom played tonight. Run play on 2nd and 6, and Penny gets about 3. There's Rob, who spent some time on the broadcast team for the Cardinals, wanted to get into coaching, so he went back to his alma mater, the Harvard of Central New York, Syracuse. and Rob went to the NFL to coach for the Raiders, but a great guy.
That is one good dude right there.
Yep.
Love Rob.
Just has a great way with young people, and a guy that I know receivers look up to because of what he accomplished as a player. How about Rod Woodson's on the Raiders staff as well? Hall of Famer.
Woody.
Bundy on the catch and a first down as the Cardinals pick up 3rd and 4 inside the 35-yard line.
Well, you watch Blaine Gabbert right there, David. You watch the way he operated, right? Standing up in the pocket, going through his progression, Look at this. Bada bing, bada boom. Plant that. Bam. Look at the ball come out of there. Like the 5th P of a 4-P pod. That's what coaches love about Blaine Gabbert. 6'4", 235. Got a release. Strong, laser-like arm.
Here's Gabbert again. That one wide of the target. Krishawn Hogan. It would certainly help all the quarterbacks if they had their full complement of receivers next week when the Bears come here. And be interesting to see how John Brown does in practice. He did a lot of individual drills, but didn't do any teamwork this week. Coming off a quad injury. Last year was hampered by hamstring problems, but John Brown is a huge key to the Cardinal offense in 2017, because 2 years ago he was a 1,000-yard receiver.
Yes.
When they went to the NFC Championship game. And he's a legit number 2. And the Cardinals are trying to decide, okay, at some point Larry Fitzgerald's going to retire. Is John Brown a number 1, or are we going to have to go get a number 1? Either in the draft or free agency. Obviously Michael Floyd didn't work out there. Part of that his own fault for his off-the-field issues, as they had to release him last year.
Well, there he is right there. The Japanese fighting fish. Deadly and single-minded of purpose.
You know he hates that nickname, right?
He hates it.
That's why he's tackled you in camp now 3 times. Twice last year, once this year.
Somehow, some way, you got to get it to 11 inside the 20, and he'll get it in.
Gabbert over the middle, juggled and dropped. So 4th down, and they're going to run Matt Weil and Richie Leone out. These are the guys battling for the punting job. Ulrich John shaken up on the play. See who they're going to let try this field goal. Looks like it's going to be Weil. Ulrich John battling for a backup spot on this roster. He started at right tackle when DJ Humphries got hurt at the end of last year.
What's so weird is here you are trying to kick a field goal in the NFL, and the guy holding it for you, you're competing for a job with Saboteur.
He got it down. Laces were out, but the kick is way off the mark. So it remains Cardinals 20, Raiders 10, late 4th quarter. Season home opener, they lead by 10. Take a look at our ground stats, brought to you by Toro. Count on it. 54 yards on 14 carries for Elijah Penny, getting a lot of work tonight. And he's done what they've asked him to do, 4 yards a pop.
Guy's a ground pounder right there. You give him the ball in between the tackles. I promise you right now he's going to get feet on the ground, rip up a gap or 2, lower the shoulder, and bring the boom.
Next week the Cardinals will host the Chicago Bears, as Connor Cook fires complete to Isaac Whitney. Gets about 7. And with the Bears coming to town, we'll see Mitchell Trubisky, who was the number 2 pick in the draft, look good in relief of Mike Glennon the other night.
Everyone settled down.
Yeah, but if you're a Bears fan, better than the alternative. Look at Mike Glennon's first throw.
You know what, honestly, you just nailed it, David, right there. I know you stumbled into that, but you nailed it when you said better than the alternative. It sure is. You know, look, Mitchell Trubisky was impressive. Just everyone step back. But it sure beats the alternative, no doubt.
Well, the officials rule incidental contact on that play. Connor Cook trying to hit Isaac Whitney. He got tangled up with Jarrell Carter, rookie from Trinity International.
Yeah, you see that ball in the air right there, right? And trying to make a play on the ball, Carter was, but can't run through the guy to do it.
But it's 2nd and 10. Cardinals bring a little pressure here. That back shoulder throw off the mark, incomplete. Now the Cardinals have played almost 2 full preseason games. And I remember last year at this time, the Cardinals offense was sputtering in the preseason. And we said, you know what, there's no need to worry because we saw the Cardinals in 2015. The offense is going to be great, and the offense struggled for a good part of last year, but still finished, by the way, in the top 10 in total offense and number 6 in scoring. So they're pretty good.
With an offensive line that was mishmash at the end of the season.
But this year in preseason, if we want to read into that, as that pass broken up, we want to read into it. So the offense looks like it's back on track here so far in preseason with 3 different quarterbacks. And look, DJ Humphries didn't play tonight. John Brown didn't play tonight. So it's not the entire starting unit. But again, it goes back to that better than the alternative mantra.
Yeah, and again, I will go back and say, okay, if the offense sputters, I'm sorry. I don't think it has any bearing on the regular season. I don't.
You don't think it did last year, though?
No,
you don't think there were any signs there with the struggle in the preseason?
No, I've seen way too many teams that have struggled in the preseason and then go out and score 50 in week 1. I'm just saying, I don't think you can draw a conclusion. I'm not saying that it didn't impact the Cardinals going into the regular season. What I am saying is I don't think you can make it an absolute. That's what I'm saying.
Again, the Cardinals' first home regular season game isn't until the end of the month when they play the Dallas Cowboys, because the first 2 games are at Detroit, at Indy. Then in less than a week, they've got the 49ers at home. Tampa Bay's back here again. Seattle will be a Thursday night game. That Giant game, Christmas Eve.
Right there. Grudge match.
Seattle. Yeah.
Seattle.
How about the 6-6 game? I thought that was really the game that told us all we needed to know about how things were going to play out last year. By the way, Trevor Knight is in at quarterback. The Cardinals are 1-3 last year after the loss in Buffalo. Then they won 2 in a row, got to 500 with a chance to win that game against the Seahawks. They outplayed Seattle that night. They ended up tying, and it just seemed like, okay, this just is not going to be the year for the Cardinals. I think a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, David. There's a different vibe in this training camp than there was last training camp. Look, I think the Arizona Cardinals knew they were an excellent football team last year. They went into last year's training camp, right, as a team that came off the NFC Championship game in a 13-3 season, and they got better in the offseason. Look, there's a different vibe with the Cardinals this year, and I think it's going to pay dividends this season for them.
University of Phoenix Stadium, preseason game number 2. Cardinals in front 20-10, 2 minutes to go. The Cardinals host Chicago next week, then back-to-back road games to end the season. As you look at Cardinals president Michael Bidwill, Larry Fitzgerald down on the Cardinals sideline. Cardinals will be in Atlanta to open that beautiful new stadium up. That's assuming the stadium's ready for that ball game. And then the Cardinals finish up the preseason in Denver. You will have the call with Paul Calvisi on that last preseason game.
Something tells me, sorry David, that in Atlanta it's going to smell of paint.
I was just down there a couple weeks ago for another event, and they're in hustle mode trying to get that thing ready to go.
Everything.
But it looks absolutely stunning from the outside. It looks incredible.
Really?
Yep. And we'll have Michael on with us during that telecast to talk about that new venue, which will be spectacular. There's a big college football game, Alabama, Florida State, just a week after our preseason game in that stadium on a Saturday night.
Painting the doors down in Atlanta.
Here's James Summers, a rookie from East Carolina, 23 years old, getting the call, picking up the first down. You got Trevor Knight in at quarterback. Knight was at Texas A&M and Oklahoma prior to that.
Josh Bynes making another play down on the field. This guy's really looked good tonight. Has he not, David?
On defense, yeah.
Yes.
Bynes, when he was out, though, yeah, he was one of the guys that shined, no doubt. Cardinals just going to take a knee here and end this game. So that'll do it. The Cardinals win 20-10. Byron Leftwich called a good game. First team offense scored on their opening drive for the second straight game. And I think as far as we know, the best news is that there were no major injuries. We have heard nothing with regard to injury. Remember last week, TJ Logan broke his wrist, costing him at least 3 months. A couple guys didn't play tonight because of injury. DJ Humphries, John Brown, hopefully they're back next week when the